There are so many things happening on stage just in one 30-second scene that if you see the show 4 times, you're still not going to see everything that goes on stage.
Cirque du Soleil is an international phenomenon and, at the time of this recording, is here in Baltimore. Between setup and opening night, Maxwell Batista and Betsy Zander joined us in the studio to talk about their incredible careers with Cirque. Max travels the world running PR for the show, and Betsy is an incredibly strong and bendy trampoline bed performer who also happens to be a Maryland native. I loved this episode because I had no idea how much goes on behind the scenes for what it takes to safely and effectively move, train, promote, set up, break down, and get everybody back on the bus, the performers, crew, and equipment. This interview might make you feel very lazy and unproductive, but enjoy it anyway. So you're actually from Maryland?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you excited to be home?
So excited. I can't wait. I had seen it on the schedule and was hoping that, it was going to continue, and I'm so happy we're here.
Yeah. So how did you end up in Cirque du Soleil? My God.
I grew up around Severna Park and did gymnastics at Docksiders. It's right over in Millersville. It's right across from the post office, and I did that for 18 years and did it throughout high school, graduated, and went to university and competed for my university. It was a Division I, George Washington University in D.C.
Oh, hey.
And I saw my first show when I was a freshman and kind of had it in the back of my mind that I was like, this would be something really cool to do. Mm. And when I finished, I auditioned. I flew out to Vegas. I went to their audition there and got into the database. So when you get into the database, you just have a profile, basically, and it's kind of your responsibility to update your profile and keep it going. And so I was doing that for close to 2 years and got a call for a contract. It was down in South America. So I kind of made my way into the company that way. And then the show that I was doing down there closed, and pretty soon after I came to Corteo.
So for those 2 years, what were you doing? I mean, were you kind of just hoping that you get a call and not taking on anything major?
I was trying to keep up the physical skills that I had, just with the endurance, and just being, a professional athlete is a lot of work in general. And so just trying to keep that side up, but obviously having to earn a living. So I was doing coaching at my old gym. There's actually a circus school in DC that I was coaching at as well.
There is?
Yeah, it's Trapeze School, New York. But it's based in D.C.
Okay.
The original location is in New York, but the one I was working at is right in D.C. It's right by the Nats Stadium.
Okay.
And so I was doing trampoline workshops there, and people would come and take classes. It was really fun. And so a lot of coaching. I was a Pure Barre fitness instructor for a little bit. So
that'll kick your ass.
Yeah, a lot of everything. More in the athletic kind of fitness industry. So that was obviously helping with staying in shape, and so it was 2 years of uploading, different things, because you never know what they want either. It's always something different. So, it was a long time, but it was worth it.
What's training like when you're active, when you're in the show?
Yep. For this show, the training on our actual apparatus isn't as long as you may think, because we are professionals in what we do.
What do you mean apparatus? Like your trampoline?
Yep.
Okay.
So in the show, I'm a trampo bed artist. So trampo bed is not something that you hear all the time. You hear trampoline a lot, but this is actually a piece of equipment that Cirque has made only for this act, only for this show. And it's a bed frame, and they weigh about 600 pounds, and they're on wheels, and we're kind of pulling them all around stage, and it's super fun. But in that bed frame is a trampoline. So we're, in essence, little kids jumping on the bed, throwing pillows, making fun of just all of what's happening. And so with that specific training, we only get a certain amount of time on stage, because we have to share the stage with so many other acts. But with our specific training on the trampo bed, we may get, a few hours to specifically train there. But then as far as our physical shape, we're expected as professional athletes to stay, it's a lifestyle. So the nutrition, the sleep, everything with fitness it's our responsibility to stay in the shape that we are.
Yeah. So do you know how high you can jump on the trampo bed?
I don't know, actually.
You don't?
No, I don't.
You need to get a geometry person? How would you figure that out?
Yeah, a couple
it
of
can be easily above 10 feet, because they can get up to 19 feet when they're flying.
Oh,
and we have the stage height plus the bed plus the height where they're jumping.
Right.
So it can be up to 10 feet easily.
Yeah, that's without trying.
Do you ever have an oh shit feeling?
Yeah, there's been not everything goes to plan every night. You do the show so many times, so something's bound to happen once in a while. But we try and roll out of it or do something that, you know, if it's a mess up or something, you make it part of the show. You make it seem like it was always meant to be there. So
is that are you trained to do that, or is that kind of like a natural instinct that you have?
Kind of both. It kind of just happens because you're on stage. When you're on stage, you know that you're performing. And so there's never can I say that there's two sides of so with Corteo, it's something special is that there's two sides of the arena. So as opposed to a play or something where you're just looking at the stage and there's a backstage, you know, there's a wall that the actors or whatever can face, and they can turn off if they want to, but then when they face the audience, they turn on. So with Corteo, there's no off because there's audience on both sides. So you're on all the time. So with that ability to kind of roll out of things or make it work, you just kind of find a way to do it because you don't really have another option.
Well, and I guess as a gymnast, I mean, those performances, that when you're competing, you're already in that 360 arena kind of deal. So that's probably excellent for you.
You're working with those little tents. You know, you want to keep your toe pointed, or if you fall or if you bobble, you kind of dance out of it because you have to. You know,
nothing's wrong.
Yeah. So you make it work.
Oh my goodness. So what is Corteo? I mean, can you talk a little bit about how it became? I don't even know what Corteo means. I mean, can you talk about the story a little bit?
Well, Corteo, it's one of the most unique touring shows we have, mostly because of the way the stage is set up. As Betsy mentioned, it's the stage is in the middle of the arena, and it gives to the audience the perspective of the actor. And it's a creation of Daniele Finzi-Pasca. Daniele Finzi-Pasca is an Italian creator. He created two shows for Cirque du Soleil, Lucia and Corteo. Corteo was first created in 2005 under the Big Top. On Cirque du Soleil, we have the Big Top shows where we travel with the tents, with 80 to 90 containers, and we set up everything that we need. We have the resident shows like the ones in Vegas where we build the theater, we adapt the theater for the show. And we have arena shows like Corteo where we travel with only, compared to the other ones, 20 tracks, and we set up the stage inside venues all over the world. Corteo was under the Big Top from 2005 to 2015, and it visited over 19 different countries. And then we changed the show to an arena format since March 2018. And it's a very unique show because you go there to see the story of a human being. So the main character of the show is Mauro, is this clown who is dreaming about his own funeral, but in a kind of atmosphere. But then people ask, but Max, am I going to see a show about a funeral? Yes.
A clown's funeral.
A clown's funeral. But it is a celebration of life. Think about that when you're watching a movie and someone is about to die. They have flashbacks of everything that happened in their lives. Or, in this case, this is what you're going to see on stage. This clown, picturing all the greatest moments of his life. And he was a kid and used to play on his bed, pretending it was a trampoline. And this is when we see Betsy's act, where we have full acrobats jumping from bed to bed, doing some high-level acrobatic tricks. Or we have the loves he had on his life, flying above the stage and doing some high-level aerial tricks above the stage. And through the show, you see all of his friends coming to visit him, people that he used to travel the world in a circus. They will come to see him, pay tribute, and show all the amazing skills they have. So this is the link you have in between acts. And because the show is a funeral, the name of the show is Corteo. It comes from Italian, it means cortege or procession. So we are going to the procession of this clown. And there's a moment on the show very important that they are walking, they are going to his funeral in a sad mood, singing a sad song, marching, and then it's his own funeral, and it is his dream. So he will get that and say, no. It's my funeral. I don't want my funeral to be sad. I want my funeral to be happy. And then they make a party of it, and they start to samba and dance, and he messes up with everything because he wants his own funeral to be memorable. He wants people to be happy and celebrate life, celebrate all the greatest moments that they have spent together while they were alive. And when you think about that, places like Mexico, they celebrate life. They don't celebrate that the person is going away because they want to remember everything that you have done with that person. Places like New Orleans, they do a huge party. They do a funeral and a huge party for that person. And people say, are they just partying? No. They are there to remember all the greatest moments that they have spent together. And this is what we do in a funeral. We remember all the good moments we have spent together and the bad moments as well. And this is what you're going to see on this show. Up and down of moods. You're going to see excitement, happiness, nostalgia through the entire show. And you're going to be easily connected to this story of this human being and this clown.
It just never occurred to me that it was someone's job to like think of a Cirque du Soleil show, and especially when that's so layered. I mean, that's really cool.
Well, and this is the thing on Cirque. When they decide to create a show, they first come up with an idea, the main concept, and then there's like, okay, let's talk about a clown or a funeral or do a tribute to the traditional circus, and then they go on that way. Or we have a show about insects, for example. We have Lucia, which is it's about Mexican culture. So each show they choose the theme, and then they start to work on that theme for about 2 years. Usually they work on that theme, where they have the creator, all the designers, the costume designer, makeup designer, set designer, the coaches, artistic director, everyone working together involved in that project, bringing together all the pieces to tell that story, and of course mixing dance, live music, street arts, circus arts, and mixing gymnastics, mixing all this together and combining to all the stories that we all know that Cirque du Soleil is famous for.
So how many people are in this show?
On Cortail, we have about 110 people, where
performers or cast and crew?
Cast and crew, okay. Where 52 of them, they are performers from 18 different nationalities.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
It's a very mixed group. I think one of the things that I always say is that when you walk on backstage, you hear people speaking pretty much whichever language you think about. So it doesn't matter which language you speak, you're probably going to find someone on backstage that will be able to talk to you.
That's amazing.
I don't know if it's something just on Cortail, but the flags that we hang,
yes,
is we've got a flag for every nationality that we have, and we always hang. I mean, we travel every week, so it's something that someone has to unpack and hang up and spend time doing. But every week those flags are hung up because it means something, and it's something so special. And I don't know if it's specific to Cortail, but it's really cool that we do it.
No, we have in all the shows, they're representing all the nationalities. Yeah. So if you go to a Cirque show under the tent, under the big top, you see in front of the big top all the flags, and you can pay attention to where they are located in front of the tent, because the closer they are to the center, more people from that nationality we will have working on that show. The further away, less people. In our case, we try to do that, but it's not a tent, as Betsy said. We set up and we have to take it apart and put it together again every week. But we always have that on backstage, because it's to remind us that we are in a multicultural place, multicultural environment, and we're all there from many different places. We all have different backgrounds, stories in our lives, but we all work together with the same goal, that is put the show together every night and entertain people.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's very cool. So you have all of these people, all of this equipment, and you're moving in and out once a week. I mean, you're in a new city every week. So what is that like for both of you, that kind of grueling schedule?
It's tough to have like a, quote unquote normal life, but you try as much as you can. So because we are, 110 people, that's essentially the family that we have, because we see them, almost more than 24/7 all the time, which is cool. But it's also that because it's so multicultural, respecting people is kind of the thing that ties everybody together. Like, I don't care if you have a different, view on this than I do. If I respect your opinion, that's kind of how we survive for as long as
You're
we
like
do.
a very flexible UN.
Yeah. So, traveling every week is like travel days. We see each other bright and early with no makeup, no nothing. After the show, you wash everything off, and you kind of turn off, and you go back to the hotel, and you're in the hotel with the same people. So you have to stay respectful, stay, an open mind, and just know that we're all here for the same purpose, the same reason, but also try and have as much as a normal life as you can. So these are also your friends, family, friends, and it's people that you want to hang out with, you want to go to dinner with and grab a drink with after the show. So it's you just find your people, and you try and live as much of a normal life as possible.
Well, when you're going to dinner, are you able to ever explore the city you're in, or is it sort of you're just like hitting it hard as soon as you get there?
We have, it depends on the week, but we usually travel either Sunday night after the show. So as an artist, I'll finish the show, take off my makeup, take off my costume, do everything that I need to do, and then I'll either get on the bus and we'll bus, 6 hours to the next city, or we'll go to a bus, and then wait at the airport for all of the technicians and the cast and crew that actually break down the entire show in less than 3 hours, which is truly amazing. And so
it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, so we'll all kind of get on the plane at, it might be midnight or 12:30 or something, and we'll get into the next city at 2. And so Monday, everybody kind of sleeps and does what they want in the morning. But then usually people are out Monday afternoon, and then we have all day Tuesday to kind of explore the city. And if there are places that you've researched beforehand or you would like to go to dinner or something like that.
Very cool.
That'll be the day that we do.
So you've been all over the world then. You've at least gotten a day in cities all over the world.
I just joined Corteo December of last year.
Okay.
So I haven't been too many places with this show, but I hope to go more places.
Okay. But Max, you have been all over. You've been with the show longer, right?
Yes, I've been with Cirque du Soleil for almost 3 years now in different shows, big top and arenas. So I did some of our shows in South America and Australia, in Singapore, in Europe, and also in North America. But with Corteo, we have been touring between US and Canada since March of 2018. And this is the city numbers. Right now we are performing in Baltimore, city number 57 for us.
What?
So 57 different cities over the past year.
Took you 57 cities to get to us?
Yes.
Right?
Well, Betsy was the most anxious about that.
to go.
But
what's cool too is because so many people have traveled everywhere around the world, if you want to go on a trip, like I spend a lot of time in South America for the past 2 years, if somebody wanted to go on a trip, they'd say, hey, I want to go to Peru. What's the best places to go? So you have tour guides essentially that you're living with that are open to, suggestions and restaurants and whatever, which is really cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah. One of the feelings about being traveling all the time with this company is also is that you start to feel that the world it's smaller. But at the same time, it's like, wow, there's so many things out there to explore. It's such a huge world, but it's easier to get from place to place. I don't know. It just the sense of getting on a plane and going to take a 10-hour flight to go to another place. It starts to feel like a routine for us, and it's not more exhausting anymore. Of course, you get tired on the other end, but yeah, it's a different feeling. So it's easier. It's like, oh, let's go next vacation. Maybe just hop on a plane and go to the other side of the ocean and let's check what is there. And there's always someone there that someone from the area, someone who have been there before. So you start to see with different ways. And as she said, we have tour guides all over the world. And let's spend a vacation, I don't know, in Baltimore. We know Betsy is from the area, so for sure she will be the one giving all the tips here. Our family and friends will be able to help us out. So this feeling of being closer to this huge world, I think it's really interesting.
That is so cool. So when you're in your home city, I mean, does everyone that you know and love get to come see you? Is that the excitement of being here, other than playing tour guide?
For sure. Friends and family have already bought tickets, like when they first went on sale. So the kind of the leading up to this, it's all the nervous anxiety, like the good side of things. Like, I'm really excited to be here. I can't wait to show everybody that I've been working really hard at this. I can't wait to share it with you, too, because a lot of people don't understand what we do, and that's okay. And a lot of people have never heard of Cirque du Soleil either. So it's like, I'd love to bring you into my world to show you, the cool things.
It's hard to imagine somebody having not heard of it.
It is. You're so right. And I still get people that are like, I don't know what that is. It's like, okay, well, let me tell you.
Well, I mean, like, famously, the scene of, where they take shrooms in... What movie is that?
The Hangover?
No. Oh, yeah, The Hangover. Is it The Hangover?
And they go see?
Knocked Up.
Yes. What's his face?
Seth Rogen.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, could not get there.
Yes,
I'm like, famously, you guys remember that movie? I can't remember.
Yes.
So, I mean, even just from that alone, but
I know.
Obviously your reputation far preceded that. Hilarious.
Well, but the funny thing is, some of the shows that you go to, it's like the colors and the whatever, and you're like, yeah, I can see where that's going to be, the feeling of you don't know what's going on, but everything's so cool, and, it's magic everywhere.
I think I'd
cool.
maximum be able to have like a glass of wine to see that show.
Well, the good thing about when I go see a show is that you can see it more than once, and you can see something different every single time you see it. And so when you come see Corteo, there's so many things happening on stage just in one 30-second scene that if you see the show 4 times, you're still not going to see everything that goes on stage.
So do you have kind of one scene that you're in and then you're off, or are you in and out the show? How does that work?
We all have our acts that we are.
Excuse me,
it's okay. That we are specifically in, that we do our acrobatic skill in, but then the rest we're in for cues. So we'll come in for a cue. I know all of us are on stage at one point doing a clapping number where the guys in the middle, they're doing an act called teeterboard. So it's a big seesaw. They're jumping on the side to side, but everyone's on stage and there's little things happening here and over here, and you can, it's cool because there's a lot of things happening all at once. And you're not going to get bored, that's for sure.
What is the act or movement that you're most astounded by? Being someone that's in the show who can do these things that nobody else can do, what surprises you in the show?
That's a great question. The part that surprises me is not necessarily acrobatically, but it's if you have a group number, like the last number in the show is called Tornik, and it's kind of a modification on men's high bar. They have 6 high bars that are, positioned kind of in a cube, and then there's 2 on the outside. And the fact that 12 guys can get up on 6 high bars and swing in between each other, the timing of that is you have to train for months in order to know when somebody's going to let go of the bar and catch the other bar in between the hands. It's really amazing. So that kind of stuff where we have a hula hoop act where, she flies at the end of her act, she flies up in a harness, still hula hooping. It's like, you wouldn't think of these things, and then all of a sudden they happen. It's like, whoa, that was really cool.
Insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So how did you get involved with Cirque, Max?
Cirque du Soleil, they visited my city about 10 years ago. And
where are you from?
Brasilia, in Brazil.
I thought so, yeah.
And I went to see the show, and I was amazed by the show. And I was never on stage person. I always loved everything about backstage. When I was younger, I was always watching the behind the scenes before the movie itself on a DVD back then. And then I was fascinated about backstage, everything about backstage. And then I was like, wow, Cirque du Soleil is a really interesting company and everything that you can do. On Cirque du Soleil, there are 100 different positions that you can work on backstage. So whatever you do in life, I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to find something to work for this company as well.
You just got to get in that database.
Yeah, you just need to get into the database. And then they first went to my city. I worked as a local there, and then another show went. I worked again, and I started to get involved in entertainment in my country. Until one day they needed someone to start to travel one of the shows, and then I became part of the troupe and started traveling with them, and it was one of the most amazing experience so far.
So you'll just do this. I mean, how sustainable is this schedule, being away from home? Right. I mean, physically for you, and then just logistically for you.
It depends from person to person. We had I met a guy on one of our shows where he was performing for 15 years, and he never missed one performance.
Oh my God.
We had people on our show, for example, that he used to be an artist on the show, and today he's one of our coaches. So there's a lot of hard work on stage and off stage. So as long as you're able to maintain that routine and still enjoying being traveling and working at the same time, I think they were able to do for a long time. In that case, for the performance, I think that might be different for Betsy, who's always using her body every day.
It depends on also what you do too. So somebody like I'll say that I'm a trampoline artist, so I'll jump on the trampoline. That's a different lifespan than a juggler. They can sustain a little bit longer because it's not as physical pounding on your body. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on where you are in your life. If you're ready to kind of settle down and, you want this one place, then a resident show might be good for you, or you might be onto something else. You might be interested in marketing and go to that. So It just depends on, kind of what you want, but you can do this for as long as you're happy, but that goes with everything.
Sure.
Every career is.
But this is a very special career.
Yeah, it's different. That's for sure.
And I heard you're getting married.
I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you. End of September.
Oh, really? Are you getting married in Maryland?
Yeah, it's actually up in Northeast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
very cool.
Northeast Maryland. But.
So you're able to take time off the show and all that works out.
Yes.
Yeah. And has your fiance seen you perform?
He has. Yeah. He's gonna watch this week as well.
Really? Where has he seen you? Does he fly out? Or?
We're from Baltimore, so I live right over in Pasadena. So he'll just drive up.
Okay, cool. But he's seen you in other cities.
Yes. Yeah. He came and traveled. We were in Pittsburgh not that long ago, and he came to see the show for the first time then.
Nice. Well, is there anything about Cirque du Soleil, whether it's on stage or off, that people would be surprised to know?
Yes.
We do. It's almost like a traveling city that comes with us. If you think about every kind of part of what needs to happen with moving stuff, so whether that's We have a catering team that travels with us, so that provides the food and nutrition that not only us, but like the cast and crew, the technicians, everybody needs. As far as costumes, we have wardrobe that travels, so anything that needs to be tailored or fixed or comes in from headquarters that maybe doesn't fit exactly right, they'll fix it.
Including the washing machines, dryers.
Yeah, so personally, we need to wash our clothes, and so we'll have time slots that we'll sign up for.
So you travel with portable washing machines and dryers?
6 of them. They are on racks, ready to move. Everything when you go to the arena, everything's on either on racks or under wheels, on wheels. So the gym equipment that we have there, most of it is inside one of the racks. So there's wheels under because it's ready to move. This is one of the reasons we're able to pack everything in about 3 hours because there's a show on backstage, but there's a show on stage, but there's another show happening on backstage where we have 2 people working for the logistics department, and they're always thinking about where is everything going and when. This way we're able to fit everything in the right place. It's like playing Tetris game. You need to fit everything in the right place in the right moment, otherwise it will not fit. If it doesn't fit, it's more time in the city. It's more time we're going to delay everything. So
which ultimately costs money.
Yeah. And your time off.
Yep.
And time off as well. So you do not mess with money and time off of people. So we want to make sure everyone is happy. But this team, they have been training on and off stage how to do that. When we first started the show, we were doing our loading in 2 days, until they were able to figure out how to put all the pieces together of that show.
You went from 2 days to 3 hours?
No, the loading is when we set up the stage. So think about it, it's like a huge puzzle. And you set up the puzzle in your kitchen and want to move to a living room. So you take all the pieces from that puzzle, put inside the box, move to the next room, you put everything together, and you want to make sure you have all the pieces so you can see the picture of the puzzle. This puzzle we have, it's 700 road cases, 20 tracks. Just the floor of the stage, for example, there are 272 pieces, just the floor. Oh, huge pieces. It's like it's a gigantic puzzle that we need to put together every week. So on Tuesday, our technical team, they're putting everything together, making sure that we have everything in place. On Wednesday, before premiere, we do a technical validation, which means that the performers, they will go on stage, they will train, they will rehearse part of their act and make sure that everything's in place. Everything we're talking about, the cables that make them fly, the lights, they're positioned on the right spot, or everything that they will need to make that act happen. If everything is correct, okay, we're ready to start the show, we have our premiere. And then on Sunday, we take all the everything apart, 3 hours, pack, next place, and so on. We do that for 12 weeks. So we have a 10 to 12 weeks of show, 2 weeks off. 10 of 12 weeks of show, 2 weeks off.
I don't want to blow your minds, but you should do Cirque du Soleil about Cirque du Soleil.
Because it's so complex and weird.
Yes, it would be amazing to show how you do it all.
That's part of the magic, though, is that you don't even realize all of that stuff is happening. And you come and you see this show, and then you'll listen to something like this, and it'll be like, whoa, I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's part of the magic. Is like you shouldn't know the whole puzzle because that's
I thought it was a good idea.
Never know.
Well, this isn't very cool. I usually ask for recommendations from people. Whenever it's always people that are living in Baltimore, so we always go through a few questions of where you like to go, what you like to do. So I might just ask you a couple, and then maybe I'll ask you a couple about travel.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Definitely. All right, so the answer just has to, for you, just has to be within Baltimore City.
Okay.
So if it's something that's closed, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
So where's your favorite place to eat in the city?
I hadn't gone to Nick's Fish House, and I went like a couple of months ago, and it was such a good crab pretzel. Mm-hmm. I would go back there every day and eat that.
Yeah, and pretty accessible from Pasadena.
Definitely, yeah.
Where's your favorite place to be outside in the city?
Ooh, you can't beat the Inner Harbor. Just walking around the aquarium, like just being around that kind of area, just because it's part of the skyline, is really cool.
And let's see, where's your favorite place? Do you drink?
Yes.
Where's your favorite place to grab a drink?
Ooh. Good question. There's a place in Canton, Lee's.
Lee's. Annabelle Lee's or Lee's?
No, Lee's.
I don't know it. Sorry. Okay, so new place.
It's a good just place to kind of hang out. They've got really good French fries and good drinks.
Okay. Oh,
there you go.
French fries are my...
Sold.
Yeah. I make my kids order food that has French fries on it just so I can steal their fries. Yeah. For them. Okay, and then Max, for you, what is a travel tip? What's something people need, like, how are you more comfortable on a plane? How are you, like, how do you
There
get
is
over jet
no-
lag?
There's no comfort on planes. So
Is
sorry.
there a way to do that?
No.
No, but I think that people spend too much time planning too many details of the trip instead of trying to enjoy the big picture of everything that's happening. So sometimes there are a few friends of mine and they say, "Well, I'm trying to pack what I'm gonna do for this trip that I'm doing this weekend," and they spend 2 days to pack. And nowadays I'm spending like taking 30 minutes to pack, but because I'm doing that every week. But go basic. It's
You're
like
not
you're
gonna
going
wear 72 pairs of underwear.
You're not
You're
gonna
just
wear
not.
everything. You're just gonna relax. Unless you're going to on a business trip, for sure you need different outfits. But otherwise, go relax. Do not think about what people will think of you. What they're gonna be staring at you. What you're wearing now. Go relax. Take the most comfortable clothes so you're able to explore the city. And the best thing about exploring the city is always asking for local tips instead of going to the most touristic things, which you can also find online. I'm not going to say that if you go online and look for the most visited places, you're not going to enjoy it. You will enjoy. If you go to Paris, you're going to go to a place where it's crowded. Go there. Have that experience. Okay, I like it. Now go for a very local area. Start to wander around, walk around the city and find the hidden places like the nice restaurants and nice spots for a great picture that you wouldn't see online, that you wouldn't hear from a tourist, from a guide tour. And you always will find something. Doesn't matter where you're going in the world.
And people are genuinely nice. If you ask people for suggestions,
Yes, anywhere. Because everyone they want to show their own place, they want to show their own city, so they will be
There's a lot
happy
of
to
pride,
see.
yeah.
There's a lot of pride in it, so people will always be open to explain to you if you doesn't speak the language. I think that's also something amazing. Sometimes you go in places where they don't speak English and you either don't speak the language and you try to communicate and there's always someone who will try to help you. Sometimes people will not care about it, so just go to the next one and try to experience the place and see, well, I saw and I lived that, instead of just seeing in the books and videos.
Bartenders make really good
They
local
do.
recommend. Like
Oh,
if you
yes.
go to like a touristy bar, if that's kind of what you can find on your own,
They know everything.
bartender to bartender, and then you can kind of find your way
That's
around. the
definitely,
city.
yeah, that's a good suggestion. Ask your bartender.
That's true, and they always give tips. It's funny because sometimes you go to eat in a places like, do you know where I can eat like seafood, or you're eating in a seafood restaurant? Do you know where I can get some Asian food? It's like, oh yeah, there's this place and that place, and they're always gonna.
And it might be
give you
like a
nice tips.
rundown looking whatever, and you get in there and the food is amazing.
Just
It's
go.
like,
Yes.
oh, I'm so glad I did that.
What's been your favorite city besides Baltimore, obviously?
Of course. In the U.S., I think that Memphis was a really nice place because of the food. I was amazed by the food there. But in the world, Singapore, it's an amazing city-state because I think I was not expecting much before I went there because I was so focused in work. But it's a beautiful city. It's warm and people there are nice. It's so many things. It's a city from the future, so it's definitely a place that you must go once in life to check on this place. It's a very different place.
Cool. Do you have a favorite city?
Ooh, I mean, besides Baltimore?
Yes, obviously.
That's a good question. In the States, I feel like I've done more traveling outside of the States than I have done in. So my favorite place, I spent a while in South America. I spent a lot of time in Buenos Aires, and that was just really cool. It wasn't a place that was on my radar at all, but because I spent so many months there for a creation, we really got to know the city and like just going around to those local spots and whatever, and it surprised me. And so I was happy to go. We actually got to go back to it, so spend some more time, and I was happy to go back.
Isn't Buenos Aires like a lot of Latin and European influence?
Yes,
So
yeah.
it's kind of this neat little.
Concoction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
It's very
locally,
different.
I lived in Buenos Aires for a year, so locally they would say that it's a New York and Paris. It's
Yeah.
a Latin American version because there's always something to do. The city is always awake.
The city's massive.
But when you see all the architecture of the city, it's a little bit like being in Paris. You look to the buildings and everything on top of the buildings, like the whole structure of the buildings, like very European. There's a lot of European influences there, but it's a city that never sleeps as well. So it's a really interesting feeling, and you see people from all over the world, not only from Buenos Aires, because there's always tourists there. There are a lot of things to do. It's one of my favorite cities as well because I lived there for a year.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Oh, there you go.
I know.
All right, well, Betsy and Max, thank you so much for being on the show. Good luck with your tour here in Baltimore and for the rest of your time in Cirque.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you again so much to Max and Betsy. For more information about upcoming shows, go to cirquedusoleil.com, and I'm not going to spell it because Google or Siri can. Just type it in, they'll figure it out for you. For past Hey Baltimore episodes and all the cool stuff happening downtown, go to our site, godowntownbaltimore.com. Hey Baltimore is produced by Mike Evitz and made possible by Downtown Partnership. Our music is by Super City, and I'm your host, Megan Eisenach. If you want to reach out, email us at heybaltimore@dpob.org. Thanks for listening.